also go and specifically concentrate on our medical facility. Because having identified the hotel that the Ghanaian Pilgrims will base, they must also look at the proximity, the distance between the hotel and then the hospital, the main hospital, or within that folks room. So Saudi Arabia, what they have also done is that they make sure that all the hotels that they actually anticipated that pilgrims would occupy, they have to make sure they have some kind of hospital there that will help them in case of any eventuality.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a normal practice. Anytime you have Hajj, you have the advanced team that will go much earlier to put this in place for the will be pilgrims that will be airlifted, right?
Undoubtedly, because our first flight will take off on May 1st. But the advanced team have already taken the lead.
Okay.
They will go through all the facilities in Mecca.
Yeah.
They will move to Mina. From Mina, they will move to Arafah. And then on Tuesday, they will move to Medina. Medina is the first point of call where the Ghanaian pilgrims would have to stay there for 3 days for visitation, and then the Masjid Nabawi. There are so many things happening in there that they have to see things with their naked eyes. There are some freshers among them, but there are those who have been there before. But the freshers would love to see what is in the mosque. I mean, where the Prophet and some of his companions were buried and all that. You pray for them and all that. You go to visitation, a whole lot of things that time will not permit us to outline all. So that is why they are there, to make sure that everything is under control. You stay in Medina for 3 days. The third day you move to Mecca, and that is what we do to the last flight. So it's a normal procedure. And we are happy that this time around the advanced team left very early. They will make sure that everything is in control before the pilgrims will start arriving. So they will go to Medina on Tuesday. That is the first one, of course. So they will check out the hotels and everything. So the first flight, by now they will know the first flight, when the flight actually arrived, when the Ghanaian pilgrims are transported to which of the hotels. They need to know. The agent will know the hotels. So when they get to the hotels, their luggage and everything, within a twinkle of an eye, everybody will get his or her luggage.
So for our cherished viewers and those who are on Facebook and YouTube, this is the 11-member advanced team that Honorable is making reference to. Yes. Proceed.
Very well. So all the pilgrims will come, and for this time around, Saudi has changed a lot of things that is going to help the process. The procedure that we were using in the past seems to be very chaotic, and it is not really well defined. So you have intruders trying to join and the Ghanaian pilgrim, because you have people who have gone for the Umrah, but they will, after Umrah, instead of them moving back to their country, FM. Especially Greek Ghanaians, and those who have also been given a visiting visa, they also stay longer, and they will join the Ghanaian pilgrims who have paid through the Hajj board. So you see that we have our quota. We know our quota is, let's say, 5,000. Before you realize you are more than 5,000. So now you ask the question, where from them? And our brothers and sisters who are also in Saudi Arabia for greener pastures, they also join, the Ghanaian team. So it makes it very difficult to control. But this time around, they have digitalized everything, right from the airport to the hotel. I mean, when you going to the mosque, they have, something that they will make sure every pilgrim will have. Is more or less like a ring band, that you would have a wristband that is with you, that can, wherever that you go, you can never get lost. Wherever you go, even the wristband will direct you back to your hotel or wherever you are. So if you don't have this thing, because if you are not really, somebody who has been offered the visa rightly, undoubtedly you can't get certain. So it will make the work very easier. In the past, that the hard board has scheduled that 3 people in a room, but Alhaji, before you realize you have 10 people in that room, these are the intruders.
In fact, some from some quarters, our own will be pilgrims who are freshers who rather say that, this person, we are in the same together in the house.
Exactly.
We are in the same area. So
the sympathy, the compassion, the nationalism is what is killing us sometimes. But at this time around, all those things will not be allowed to have any effect on us. And then you see, this year there is something though it's yet to come. come out, but exclusively I'm giving to Baraka.
Okay.
You know, a lot of passports have been rejected.
Oh.
You know, last year, a lot of them went behind the scene. They did not go through the hard work. And that is what we term in our local language, bango bango.
Bango, yeah.
So they went through the back door, you know, through Ethiopia, you know, Dubai, Qatar, and all that. So most of them could not even come to Mecca. You know, they were held in Jeddah. Some of them, they took their fingerprints and they told them that you've been suspended or banned for 5 solid years, some even more than 5 years, before you be allowed to come to Mecca. So they thought it was a joke. So they went and paid through some agents. And then when those passports go to the Saudi embassy here in Accra, those passports were rejected.
Oh, rejected.
And I can even tell you some of the agents don't know. They were not even informed about that. Passport has been rejected. They will place it to be rejected. But me as the communicator, I'm just bringing this for us to understand that those who still have the mind of maybe going through that processes must know that regardless of the circumstances you find yourself in, if you have been given the chance to go through that process and you have your thumbprint, regardless of what you do, that suspension would have to end before you can go to Saudi for any pilgrimage.
Very good clarification over there. Then again, what's the relationship between some of our students who study in Saudi Arabia? I understand sometimes there is an arrangement from your outfit, and then how they can also ask, because they are more familiar. I don't know whether it is true.
I think that this is very, very sensitive issue. I came up with an idea about how we can communicate or collaborate with our scholars, whose responsibility is to go and direct and control and guide our will-be pilgrims, especially the freshers. When I said this, somebody took me out of context, saying that I said they should come and work under my department, communication department. No, because the scholars' major or key element is communication. How do you communicate with the will-be pilgrims? Sometimes you need to understand that we have oral communication and we have non-verbal communication. We have body language communication. You understand? So there are some of them that mentally, psychologically, they are overwhelmed. They are so passionate to travel to Saudi Arabia. And there are certain things that when you tell them here, you know, Abdul Fattah, it will never get anywhere. So you as a communicator, you must do a research that will give you the look. For this area of how to direct the programs, we aren't going to say it here. Let's get there. Symbolically, we have a way of maybe educating them, informing them, and trying to reinterpret, because most of them, they are scholars, some of them have their children who are scholars who can take them through the process. But I can tell you, when the person is so, passionate about traveling, the emotions that the person has for traveling will more or less like get the person blindfolded. The person's mind will be very loaded. So until when you get there, that is where you can tell them A or B or C. So that was what I suggested. So now the point that you are making, there was a particular year, I don't know whether it was 2014, thereabout, or 14 years, our chairman, Alhaji Tanko Ibrahim, he monitored, the responsibility of the scholars, and he realized that he could consider our brothers who are in Medina Islamic University, and then those who are also in Mecca. He spoke to them because they are conversant with the terrain, and then they understand Baraka FM. They are currently in school, so they may even do their own research and do their own investigation to be able to identify the areas that they need to know about Hajj pilgrimage. So they will take note. So when they have the people, they know how to sensitize them, because they need to categorize elements of their presentation. Their engagement with the will-be pilgrims could be education, could be informative, could be clarification, could be interpretative. When you go to where this battle took place, where Khalid bin Walid was able to overcome Muslims, when you have a very good scholar, he is giving you the narrative. So there is nothing, but there are some symbolic areas that he will tell you that this is where Khalid bin Walid, this is where he hid himself, when he realized that when the Prophet told some of his companions not to descend down, regardless of the circumstances, but when the Muslims partially won the battle, because there are some goodies that fell down. So their colleagues were more or less like, going for the goodies. So they realized that, come on, let's all come down, we've won the battle. Meanwhile, the Prophet told them. That was even where the Prophet got wounded, and all that through Khalid bin Walid. So you have a scholar who can demonstrate and symbolically tell you this is where Khalid bin Walid was hiding, and this is where the Prophet was, and they will even show you where the Prophet was before he was hit and all that. So these are the things that we need to know. But I think that as time goes on, we need to establish that caveat where we need to make sure that our students who are in Medina Islamic University and Makkah, we need to know how to engage them. Even if we aren't going to take all of them household, maybe we could say that, okay, if we need about, let's say, 20 scholars to take care of our pilgrims, we will say they should give us half of them. Maybe some of them, as we go, they're also learning on the job. They are learning on the job. So maybe after they are graduated, these are the people that we can even rely on them for them to continue with the process. Because this is a very important aspect of Hajj. If the will-be pilgrims are not well educated, they are not well informed, they will go and mess up. The person will come home claiming to be an Alhaji or Haji or whatever, but the person did not end well, and the Hajj has become null and void.
In that same regard, the chunk of our OB pilgrims quite often are the number of the female outnumber the male. I don't know, maybe historically, if we ever had the male dominating. And yet, we're looking at the Dawa group that is always constituted, always virtually males. And Islamically, relating to females, we have some how do you call it, protocols to follow. I don't know the arrangement this year, whether the Dawa committee, like you're saying, maybe you wanted to make some intervention earlier, but it was not taken in good faith. I don't know this one, whether you have any arrangement where we have some of our sisters or our mothers or our aunties who are also malamas who will be accompanying.
Undoubtedly, it's a mixture. You cannot have only male scholars. We have female scholars.
Great.
As you really indicated, we have some spiritual protocol that we need to follow. And there are certain things that in communicating with the female will-be pilgrims, there are certain languages that you guys need to understand yourself.
Exactly.
That is why I was talking about body language. So the women know how to deal with their colleagues, women. But there are issues that are general, regardless of your gender. So the scholars would have to treat everybody. Just like when you go to the tawaf. Tawaf, when you are going through the tawaf, it's not about whether you are a woman or a man. We all combine ourselves because your focus, your attention, a woman could even come closer to you very, very tight, but you don't even think, you never even see the woman close. You might think that it's a man because of your intention. That is why Saudi Arabia, they have a system. There are some uncross-plus individuals who go to do the tawaf. Their major agenda is to make sure that they are always closer to women and being rubbing themselves to women. So they'll pick you. The security will pick you up. Because they have CCTV cameras. I've experienced that about twice or three times. There are some Arabs who, I don't know how to describe them. You understand what I'm saying? Who cannot control their lust. So you see them coming, doing the tawaf, you see them messing up and trying to get very, very close. But there are some who are there with their wives. So when you see somebody with the wife, you know this is his wife and this is her husband. But it's been a long time that I've seen that because of people have been arrested and all that, because they look at your demeanor, they look at your body language, and they know what to say. But with regards to Ghana, I can assure you that we are both the male and the female scholars who are going to make sure that there will be pilgrims in Ghana will be taken good care of. And then one thing that my department is trying to do is that we need to identify freshers.
Great.
When we identify
young, energetic,
exactly. That is why I was talking about collaborating with the scholars. And somebody misunderstood me because if I have this first flight, maybe we have about 450 will-be pilgrims in this flight. My team could say, who are the freshers who are making the first attempt of Hajj? We are this. So you need to just try to separate them, you isolate them in a way, and then get a scholar that will take them through the processes, give them the education, sensitize them. But those who have been there before, they may also have another scholar who is just going to remind them, is going to re-echo. So some of these people, it's about reinterpretation or clarifying certain things. And you may ask them, you need to bring in the element of Q&A, question and answer. So you ask them, so you've been here last 2 years, what is your take? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. They may explain to you. I quite remember there's a scholar that I was listening to, that a woman, she's over 60 years. She has delivered a lot of kids, and those kids have also delivered. She has grandchildren and all that. She came asking the Malam, how would I bath the Janaba bathing? Look, over 60 years. So the Ustaz asked her, so are you saying that all this year you've never known how to bath Janaba? And she said, Malam, you know what? Forgive me. You just teach me how to go about it. You see? So it tells you that there are people who travel to perform Hajj. They will just go, they just add to the number. Only that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may just accept them because of their clean heart and their willingness to go and serve Him. A lot of them, they forget about themselves. Some of them will even go and fight. And meanwhile, it's part of the rules and regulations governing Hajj pilgrimage. You don't go and you don't fight. You don't remove your whatever, you don't remove your hair, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of them who go beyond boundaries. Some of them, they don't know. But it all depends on how we monitor them, how we supervise them, how we engage with them. And when we see them going off the rails, we'll bring them back. But this year, the communication department will try as much as we can to identify all these flaws and be able to plug the loopholes, as it were.
Now, earlier again, we had the you sent the how do you call it, the schedules for the first, second flights accordingly. The arrangement, is it by agent basis or maybe, I don't know what we had here. That's what is being displayed on our Facebook and our YouTube page with regards to.
Very well.
Yeah.
You need to plan.
Okay.
You need to plan, and it also depends on the agents who have paid earlier.
Okay.
Sometimes we need to be very fair, balanced, and try to avoid any harm. Okay. So one critical thing that we have developed as Hajj pilgrimage organization or operation is to minimize harm.
Okay.
So if you look at the parents that we gave you, the manifest that we gave you, Tamale, we have 9 flights.
Yeah.
So you could clearly see that first flight, you may have about close to about, let's say, 7, 8, 9 agents.
Okay, yeah.
Among them, you would also have the direct PEs, those who pay direct to the Hajj board.
Okay.
And then you may also have special arrangement. That is the protocol. Yeah. So we have a way of arranging it. And there are individuals that can even tell their agent that, you know what, I have paid earlier, I want to go with the first flight.
Oh, okay.
I want to get there early, blah, blah. Yeah, the Hajj board will give you that space.
Oh, mashallah.
There are those that would say that I need this, I need that. But the point here is that when you go with the first flight, you come with the first flight. When you go with the second flight, you come with the second flight. But there are some individuals that will go with the last flight. But as soon as they get there, then you see them trying to play around and saying that they want to come with the first flight. That one is not allowed. But we have individuals that can go with the hard board because they are officers, they have work and all that. So after we are done with the pilgrimage, they can just go and look for their own private flight and get back to Ghana. Okay. You understand? Yes, we have a lot of that. We have a lot of that. So as you rightly said, we've actually developed the concept of agents. Maybe an agent has paid for, let's say, maybe 200 pilgrims. Maybe 100 will join the first flight. And 50 will join the second flight, and another 50 will join the third flight. So that is why if you look at the manifest, we've indicated the dates, the agent, and all that. But there is one agent that could just have just 50 pilgrims, and he may be fortunate to have all the 50 will be on the first flight. You understand? But if your number is huge, it's likely we have to make sure that we blend it with other agent pilgrims and all that. So everything is in order. So we have the Tamale one starting on the May 1st. to May 9th. And then we just have a day rest. That is on the 10th of May. On the 11th of May, we come back to Accra. And then we continue from May, 11th to May 18th. And so when we are done, the last flight will come up on May 18th, that all of us, because myself and my good chairman, Alhaji Abdurrahman Ibrahim, and some management members, we don't go with any flight from one to the last but one. We have to make sure we stay on.
Everything is
set. Everything is done. We've corrected all the abnormalities and all that, and then we will join the last flight and join them. So that is what we do every year.
But however, every flight would have a composition of the medical team, the Dawa, and then the task force, and I don't know whether it's like that.
You've answered the question. You've shown that you're an insider. And that is exactly because this year we have more than 13 medical doctors or officers.
Great.
And then we have the nurses are more than they are over 30. And then we also have other medical, medical staff who will be playing some peripheral role. So every flight would have a doctor. One or two, depending on the number on that flight. Because there are some flights that can take maybe 500 passengers, some can take 450 or whatever, depending on the number of passengers. We have the doctors, or we have a doctor with nurses. They have every facility that they have. And the flight itself also, they have certain medical facilities in the flight in case of any eventuality. So when they arrive at their hotel in Medina, they know how to engage with them and what have you, because all the pilgrims would have to go through Medina and stay there for 3 days before the third day they'll move to Mecca. And then wait for the last day. Then we move to Mina. From Mina, we go to Arafah. From Arafah, we come to Muzdalifah. From Muzdalifah, then we have to go through the slaughtering, shaving of your hair, going to throw stone against, and then a symbolic pillar that has been developed against the Satan and all that. So, Abu Fatah, everything is set. And we thank Allah for everything.
Great. See, before you take leave of us, there's seminar that was organized in Kumasi. I don't know whether you were there, or maybe some of your men were also there. In terms of if you can give us an idea what's transpired.
No, I wasn't there, but my deputy was there.
Great.
It's a normal procedure of orientation. And that is exactly what you and I spoke a while ago. How to take them through the process of educating them, giving them an idea. You try to let them visualize what they will meet in Mecca and the processes, how to manage themselves. You would need to also let them understand what we call self-control, because sometimes some of them may hide their illness. But this time around, by the grace of Almighty Allah, we've gone through medical screening. So a lot of them have been rejected. Yes, a lot of them have been rejected because of their ailment. So we thank Allah for that. And some of them, we get to know what is their main problem. Maybe diabetes, maybe blood pressure, maybe this, maybe that. So the medical team have records of all. So all the flight that will be taken off, we know that flight number 1, we have, let's say, 10 individuals who are maybe diabetic patients. So the doctors know. So they know the kind of medicine that they need to take along, so that to help in case of any eventuality. So everything has been done. And then we have the task force. Maybe we may have some agents among us. And then when they get down, there will be pilgrims will be tired. So the task force will have to support them when it gets to their luggage, especially when we get to the hotel. These are the individuals, the task force that will help to make sure that it will help them with the luggage and what have you. Sometimes there will be pilgrims who will need something. Some of them are newcomers. So, but some of the task forces are guys who also understand the terrain, because the advanced team will then also support them at the time. They'll know all the intricacies, all the movement and what have you, so that they'll take them through the process. So everything is done, and we hope we are on course.
Alhamdulillah. Thanks so much. It's been a great moment having you for this particular clarification. That's Honorable Alhaji Amin Lamptey, who is the Communication Director, Hajj Board, giving us the update with regards to the schedules and also the advanced team and the seminar that took place at Kumasi. Briefly, inshallah, we're going to also engage one of the Hajj agents. For a short break. When you return, the show continues.